Here's the top of the right hand wing. It hasn't actually come out as well as I wanted, but it's not, it's not that bad. Still see a reflection in there. So what I've got to do now is put the ailerons on there. So what I've got to do again, I've got to cut a few slots in here for the hinges, and then put the ailerons on. Here's the left wing, which has actually come out more reflective. Yeah, I got the word right. So I don't like it. I prefer the other wing. I don't know why this one's come out like this. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the hinge on. I'm going to put the elevator, the aileron. I'm putting the aileron on when someone's stolen it. People keep stealing my stuff. I put something down and someone steals it. Oh, it's on my lap. So, this is the aileron for this wing, which goes that way, like that. So what I do is, you line it up, you make sure it's all nice and flush on both, on the top edge, like that. And then what I do is, I just push it down on one side, and just keep pushing it along. And what it does is actually leaves an imprint of that on that. And then all you do with that is you get your knife and you just cut into it. Now don't, like I showed you before, don't cut straight down like that. Cut at a slight angle so as it goes into the polystyrene. Well, I know it looks a complete mess, but I've decided I'm not having my GPS here. I'm going to have it on the other wing with the Easy UHF, and on this wing I'm going to be having the video transmitter. And thanks to, I can't remember the YouTube username, but I'll put it in the description here. So to get this this covering off, simply what you do is you score all round with a knife, very loosely, don't go through it, you don't need to, and then you just grab one end, peel some of it off, and it just comes straight off. Because it doesn't actually bond to it, it's just like a skin basically. Fantastic stuff. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to put some, I've got to cut a piece out for it. I'm going to put some foam in there just to patch that up. So that will go in there. When I've painted over, you won't even know I've done it. You really won't. He says. So there you go. And also this one's going on the other wing. This is actually the version 2 GPS, which is a lot more accurate, a lot more satellites, basically a lot better. So instead of that one, I'm going to put that one. They perform the same. No, they don't. I've just said they don't, you dickhead. I've had to take all the tape off where I've painted, unfortunately, because I'm going to put my version 2 GPS in, and it's going on the Easy UHF side of things. The connectors are on the side there, on the end, so I'm going to mount it right there. So I've got to cut it out again and put that in there somewhere. I've mounted the VTX on the end with the antenna connector on the end like that, taped over the grooves, which now runs all the way down there to the end of the wing. So what I've got to do is paint over it. And also on this one, as you've seen before, I've got the Easy UHF connected on the end there. which runs down there. Now through that piece there goes the GPS, and all this wiring, apart from that bit, all this wiring goes down to the end, and the GPS is now on the top, which I'm going to put some tape across it. So I've now got to paint all that as well. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is paint this wing. I've already done the underside, which is now dried, with my VTX in there and the antenna mount on the end. What I was going to do was put the VTX in here, so I cut a slot out and didn't want it there. So what I've done is I've filled it with another piece of foam. That was it. Now hopefully you're not going to see it. So I've smoothed it, sanded it down, smoothed it out as much as I possibly can. So fingers crossed, when it's covered you're not going to see it, or you might just about, I don't know. But yeah, it looks a mess at the minute, but hopefully when I've painted it again, because this is the one I had to strip all the paint off. Fingers crossed. I'm going to make this so as I can take it apart, I can take this tray out. So what I'm going to do is, the ESC is going to be mounted there. Oh, and I've put a temperature sensor in there as well. So the ESC is going to be mounted there. Now these have got to be long enough so as I can unplug it when the tray's pulled out. So I'm going to cut them about there, and then I'm going to put a connector on them, my usual sort of bullet connectors, and I'm going to put that on there so as they'll slide back in like that. I've put the connectors onto here, as you can see, so it's easily unplugged, so that can be carefully slid out like that, and then I can disconnect the speed controller. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure that. It's about to there, so I'm going to cut that to that length so as that can then go back into the vector. It's also as I can slide that out and actually put I've got the wire to the right length now, well sort of, I've just got to trim those two there. I've been looking for connectors. I need a 12 pin connector for this, so what I've got here is some, they're not IDE, ATX power supply connectors that I've just hacked up, which if I can show you. So all I've done is I've just cut them to the right length, or the right width, so I can put them on there, all like that, and then that bit's going to connect to it. They're actually locking connectors, so they're not going to, once they're in, they're not going to come out again. I've decided to go with two connectors, not just the one. This one goes to the easy UHF and all the channels, and this one, these bits here go to the servos, and this one just goes to the GPS and nothing but. And the reason being, if I need to unplug the GPS for whatever reason, for testing or so that one's now separate. So that's done, although it doesn't look very pretty. It'll serve the purpose absolutely perfectly. Because the VTX actually runs on 12 volt, which I didn't realise, I thought it was 4S tolerant, but it isn't. I've had to put a regulator on there, and I've put the voltage readout just in case. So the regulator's underneath and green thing there, and then that just gives you the voltage readout. I've done the wiring for the left wing, which is that. I've got to do the wiring for, or the connector for the right wing, so I've got the right aileron, camera switcher, elevator and the easy UHF. So what I've got to do, I've got to cut that heat shrink off there, I've got to bring all the channels down here just in case I want to use them for something on board. So they've got to go to the, oh, I don't. I know what I'm doing, I don't know what the f I'm talking about. Well, I've added on here a power switch there, and that goes to the VTX purely because when I want to bench test it I don't want the video transmitter to be on, so I can just connect directly to it. So that's basically all that switch does. Now the other thing I've done is, I'll zoom out, I've got these connectors here which I don't know if you've seen it before. I don't know what videos I've done. So I've got the two connectors, there's one for the left wing and the other one for the right wing, so that's it. So that's all done. I've got these wires here which goes to the Easy UHF, so if I need to put any extra wiring on there, then these are all routed in place. Now I was using two servos, one for the left aileron, one for the right aileron, and obviously the one for the elevator. Trying to get differential working on them, but the Vector doesn't support it. I managed to get it working with the two servos, but it just won't do differential. So, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to need it yet. And that's it. This wing, which is the left hand wing, which I had to, I stripped all the paint off, which came off in one big bloody sheet. Superb, actually. You can see that there, and there's also another bit. So I've got a piece here which is rough, and I've also got that bit that I've filled in. I've got to cover that again. Now I don't know what colour to do the fuselage, and I'm also going to do the edges a different colour just to make it more visible if it ever goes down anywhere. But I don't know what colour. I'm going to make my own pan and tilt mechanism to go on the top of here, which is going to take quite a while, but don't care.